Welcome back to the channel, or is this your first time? Welcome. Today we're going to be looking at a really cool fort or castle that's located in the city of Saku. It's the first castle of its kind in Japan, and it's only the second castle in the entire country. Built in 1867, it's Japan's only star fort, well, one of two star forts. So we're going to look at it. A lot of history in it and what it reveals about the castle, because it was built during a period of mass transition from the Edo period to the Meiji Restoration. So we got about 25 Ks to get there. Most of it's downhill. Not complaining about that. This makes coming back a little bit difficult. Not too bad. Train passing. The weather's so nice right now. The rainy season's been very long this year, and all the locals always tell me, it'll be over this week, or it'll be over this week, or it'll be over this week, and it's still the same. But finally, it looks like it's coming to an end. And with the end of rainy season, it means heat, and it's almost like all of a sudden, bam, it's hot. And for a split second, you think to yourself, man, what was I complaining about with the rain? August is my favorite month in Japan, if it's not raining. It is hot, but when it's clear and sunny, it's a beautiful, beautiful place. October is pretty close second. October is a really nice time as well. But I mean, this here, you can't beat this. It's how sunny and clean everything is. It's not a bad place to be. It's not a bad place to be at all. I've lived here 3 years. I've never been on this bridge. Oh, it would suck if I dropped my camera. I love cycling through the back streets of rural Japan. You never know what you're going to see. In so many ways, I lived a long time in Europe, and how the houses are so close to the roads just reminds me a lot of the village that I lived in Austria. It's like air conditioning in here. Hey! So we're just entering Saku City. Can't you see all of it, all the city? Now we gotta drop down this hill here, and we'll be entering into it. And I've never been to this castle, but I know it's on the south side of the city, kind of nestled in a little valley. So this is a ski area in Saku. Not very big, but big enough. You see this, man, you could turn this into some pretty awesome downhill. Traffic's starting to pick up as we head into the city. I mean, if you can call it a city. It's not like Osaka or Tokyo. It's certainly bigger than where I live. I'm excited about seeing this castle. I've always had a deep fascination with castles. My undergrad was a history major, and castles and history, things like that, I've always just, no, get me excited. My wife is from Wales, and I love going home with her. Wales has more castles per square mile in all of Europe. And, peaches. Look at that. Now I'm from Georgia, and peaches are everywhere. Kind of puts me at home for a second. How cool is that? Look at that! I love the green of rice fields. It's a different shade of green than what I'm used to. It's so vibrant. You know, one of the things I love about rural communities in the countryside is it doesn't matter where you are. people are so much the same. I mean, I grew up in rural Georgia, and then I moved to rural Austria. In 2 years in Jordan, we'd go out into rural parts of Jordan. Now living 3 years in rural Japan. Yeah, they may speak different languages and have different religions and different cultural practices, but at the end of the day, there's so many similarities. Hard-working people, living on the land and off the land, doing the best that they can with what's provided. All right, found it. A little bit further than I thought it would be, but doesn't matter. How cool. Nice, just riding down to the entrance. There we go. There's the moat. And there's a moat going through here, but this was all filled in. So today the castle is a school. This is inside the starport. But apparently the only thing that's still standing besides the walls, this original, is this kitchen house. And the rest is obviously contemporary. So we are currently inside the castle complex, inside the star, if you will, or it gets its name, the starport. And here is the kitchen. It's the only original piece that's still standing is the kitchen. You can see that just through here. But what's interesting about this fort, this castle, is it wasn't practical, and it's not really known what was the true intentions, because if you take a look, I mean, it's surrounded by, if you see it there, over here, it's surrounded by mountains, and a castle with mountains surrounding you, your enemy can take the high ground and make your life a living hell. I normally wouldn't just ride up into the parking lot of a school, but I'd read online that because the school is located inside of the castle walls, they get a lot of visitors, and as long as you mind your own business, they don't mind. So I was like, good. I mind my own business. I'm just trying to find a good picture of the walls. And here's an example of just how impractical this castle actually was. The moat is very thin, very easy to cross over, and the walls are extremely small, not very difficult. And then here it's surrounded by mountains. So from a tactical standpoint, it's not very useful. So it's not really known exactly, but it is theorized that this was kind of a prototype, because this was right when Japan was opening up. You know, and this castle really does show us so much about Japan. You know, in the 1870s, it was changing so fast. It's trying to catch up with the West, trying to build its own country, instead of it being a feudal domain of many, many different lords, trying to create a centralized state and a national narrative. And it's just a great period of transition. And I think this castle really just shows us how fast the times were changing. You build it, a few years later it's out of fashion, it's out of commission, because Japan had changed so much within that 4 or 5 year period. Not to mention they got it all wrong. Low moats, low walls in the middle of a valley. But nevertheless, it just shows you just how fluid that period of time would have been. And yeah, we think things are unstable right now. You can only imagine what it would have been like then. Bikes and castles. Alright, if you enjoyed that, please subscribe. We got lots more videos coming of just all the castles in this area, and so much to explore, so much to see. And if there's anything that you want me to see in this area, please let me know, and I'll do some research and find out the story behind it. All castles tell the story. and I'll try my best to tell it. Until next time, bikes and castles.